Welcome to our Q&A. I am here with Julia Moustacchi. I'm sorry, I should have asked you your pronunciation for your last name. Is that correct?
It's Moustacchi, but it's
Moustacchi.
okay. Everyone gets it wrong.
Okay, great. Thanks for the clarification. Julia is the program and outreach manager at Fire Station Artist Studios, and she's kindly given us her time today to discuss a really fantastic opportunity and to answer some questions. So just a couple small pieces of housekeeping before we get going. We'll start with a quick conversation. Julia will give us some information, and then we'll open up for questions. And if you think of questions while we're talking, if you'd like to put them into the chat, that's also an option. The event's live captioned, and if you have any accessibility questions or any issues with the tech, feel free to just leave a note in the chat as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Julia, why don't you tell us a little bit about the opportunity and your organization?
Sure. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'll just give a brief overview about what Fire Station is, and then I'll get to the program of the International Curator Residency. So Fire Station is an organization which is located in the inner city of Dublin, and we provide support for professional visual artists. We've been running for 30 years this year, and we're quite unique in the sense that we have this combined live and work studios, and no one else does that in Ireland. So the different facilities we have is we have 9 live and work spaces. So it's studios where artists are residents in Fire Station for 1 to 3 years. We also have day studios. We have 3 of them. We have a large-scale sculpture workshop with different facilities and equipment, and we have a digital media resource center where also we have a variety of facilities and equipment. And both of those production facilities are available for hire. And in addition to this, we have a program which I'm looking after with the director of Fire Station, and we run a series of awards for graduate artists to established artists, and for artists coming from multicultural backgrounds, for artists with disabilities and chronic illnesses. We also have a summer school every year on a different topic. We have yearly publications with critical writing, reviewing the works of some of our awardees. We collaborate with different organizations internationally and locally. We're also developing outreach program and working with children and young people in the neighborhood, and also with individuals and organizations. So that's kind of the scope of what we're doing. And as part of this program, we have the International Curator Residency. So this program has been running for 9 years, I think, this year. And we've had people from really all over the world. And the purpose of this program is for curators come and connect with the Irish and the Dublin art scene to either reinforce some pre-existing connections or make some connections that are related to an interest or a research or practice that's going on for the curator. So we really encourage the curator to make contact with different artists, organize studio visits, go attend some events and shows, and just really connect with the art scene here. What we provide is a free accommodation. We also provide a stipend to help with the expenses of living and working for the amount of time that you're doing the residency. This year, the residency is for 3 to 4 weeks, because we find that under that time, it's just not enough time to really connect. And we ask that anyone who applies can, commit to that timeline. And this open call is for any curators, really. Like, you could be independent, you could be part of an organization, and you have to commit to time. We ask that curators have a strong track record, and they've been working in that role or sector for over 5 years. And importantly, we ask that they have a plan of why they want to come here, that there is some kind of consistency about why they want to visit Dublin and the Irish art scene. Then the deadline is the 15th of November at 5 p.m. Irish time. We ask the curators come to give a talk of 45 minutes in Fire Station in a project space we have. So that's a way to connect with our residents and users or people outside of Fire Station. And we also ask that if there's any event that we put in place, that the curator attends them. And usually we have, for example, a potluck lunch where we'd gather with everyone who's there and share a lunch, and just it's a way to connect in an informal manner. And we also asked that the curator would be open to having studio visits with our artists, but of course it's not like the purpose is to connect with any artist that the curator wants to, but also incorporates the artists that are in Fire Station. And we also ask that at the end or after the stay, the curator writes a short report about their experience. Yeah, so that's kind of like the shape of the program. But maybe before we go to questions, I'll just kind of emphasize a few points that I think are important. So as I was saying, Fire Station is in the inner city of Dublin, so it can be a challenging neighborhood, like any inner city, I think, in a capital. It's not unfriendly, but it's just something to take in consideration. And sometimes maybe, you know, it's not the kind of place where it's a short-term residency for other artists. Artists are here for 2 years, 3 years. So being with them here is more like sharing an apartment block with your neighbors. It's not really like a community place where you all have dinner together. So that's something to maybe to keep in mind for your expectations of coming here. Like, you do connect with people, but it's in a more organized way where you say, okay, we're going to meet for a studio visit that day, you know, so you have to be kind of a self-starter and quite independent. We're really happy to facilitate any connections and introduce you to people, but it has to be your own plan of what you want to achieve when you're here. We unfortunately have a no pets policy because not because we don't like animals, but because it's there's no green space here. So it would be terrible if you were coming, you would have to leave, like, say, if you have a therapy dog, you'd have to leave them in the studio, and you wouldn't know where to take them. So we just said, okay, no pets. And not that it's similar, but we have a no children policy as well, because part of Fire Station is considered as a factory floor by insurance. Basically, it's just heavy tools, heavy machinery, and we can have children here. It's a very competitive program, so favorize is a clear plan of why you want to connect with artists here, and making sure you have a rationale for that. We do return visits if we have budgets during the year. We invite a curator back, and it's not necessarily a curator from the past year. It could be like a few years back, but just something to keep in mind. And we also have, as I was saying, the project space if needed for meetings or research or, you know, anything. So yeah, that's my overview. the program. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Anybody have any questions? I can kick it off. I'm curious if you, off the top of your head, have any notion of what sort of common factors there might be in successful applicants.
It's a tough one. I mean, I guess what's really striking in an application that, I mean, something that we would notice is when it's really clear in the curator's research or practice why they want to go to Ireland. Like, I don't know what their research might be, but if there is really like a connection in the theme, or if there is like a specific organization or artist they want to meet, not that you need to have a super developed project, because we really believe that this is an opportunity for a long-term collaborations. We're not expecting that something is going to happen at the end of the residency or even the next year. So, and about what you're going to achieve after coming here, but you need to have an idea of why you're drawn to coming here. So if this is well articulated, and if you mention organizations or artists that you have an interest in, that definitely, you know, comes out quite clearly as something relevant.
Yeah, that specificity.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Feel free to just shout them out or type them in the chat.
Hi, I have a question. I'm Helena from the Netherlands. I have been working in Ireland with contemporary artists, presenting exhibitions in Dublin Castle, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a network of places where I can organize an exhibition, but I miss the link with the artists now practicing in Dublin. So would that be something that you think would be an interesting angle to do this residency?
Yeah, so you're saying that you have the connection with the place and you've worked here before, but you don't necessarily know who are the current artists in Dublin. Yeah, that would totally be relevant and, you know, justified, because we definitely provide some guidance, and we help with introductions. We can steer you in the direction of who might be interesting for your research or practice. So it's fair enough that, you know, you don't know already who you want to, as in you want to make connections in Dublin, and that's what the residency is.
I kind of want to discover artists that I don't know yet.
Yeah, so that's a valid project that we would receive, positively.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi. Hi, this is Mazabin from Berlin. My question is actually that my practice is, my research practice is actually focused on mostly new media art practices or transdisciplinary art practice. And I curate a residency program, and also will be curating some other projects in the upcoming year. And I would be interested to know, of course, the artists whose practice is actually in the same discipline. So if I were to apply, so would you expect me to submit like a confirmed schedule for meetings that artists I would like to meet from Dublin, or would you be open to help me finding out like who are the contemporary artists working in Dublin right now?
No, we wouldn't expect you to have a schedule already, you know, and to have made contact with those artists in advance. We would not expect that, and we would be happy to help you find out who those artists are when you come here and connect with them. I think it's more explaining, as you did, your interests, and that you would like to discover those artists in your field in Dublin for whatever reason, because you are planning to do an exhibition, or
Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks.
Hello, my name is David Terry. I'm from New York and Berlin, and I have a question about the artists that are in the residency program currently. I think you mentioned that they're there for 1 to 2 years, so they're there for quite some time. Will the artists that are there now be the ones there in 2024 for the residency? That's question A. And B, how are those artists selected to be residencies? What's that process?
So the artists, there are a few that are still going to be there next year, and there's some, I think they have been announced publicly, but they will be coming in January, February 2024. And then I think for the whole year there'll be not that much movement, or maybe a couple of residencies changing. So will I list the artists to you, or
is there a way, even maybe perhaps on the website, where you can sort of see who the artists are and what their practices are? I'd be very curious to see what their disciplines are, get a sense of the scope of things.
There should be on the website, there should be in residencies, you have the current residence, and you have, I'm just checking right
Past
now.
resident.
You have like a biography, and and actually the current residents are the 2024 one, who are not already there. So you have a good picture of who's going to be there next year. And then how they're selected. So there have been a few different selection panels, because it didn't fall at the same time, the end of the beginning of the residencies, and then we recently had a change in the duration, in the length of time. It used to be that everyone was 2 years, 9 months, and now we've made the changes of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So we've had a few panels, and it's a panel of, I don't know how many, maybe 6 people, with 2 or 3 fire station personnel, and then an artist external to fire station, and then an arts professional external to fire station. So 2 or 3.
And are all the artists from Ireland, or it's international?
They are all based in Ireland at the moment, not necessarily Irish. But the reason why there's no it's open to international artists, but you would have to make the case why you would like to be in Ireland, and that you have some plan of how you're going to develop your practice here, and it's not just a one-off, I want to be here for a year and go back.
Right.
So for that reason, we don't really have people who are not based in Ireland at the moment anyway.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share, Julia? Anything these questions have made you think about, or any last thoughts?
I mean, just to say that if you are selected, we provide kind of a list of what's in the accommodation, and just to help you prepare. And my role is to kind of liaise with the curators to help them understand how the residency could be, and just be there as a sports person. But I mean, I don't think on the practicalities of how to apply and stuff, I don't think there's much more for me to say than what's on the website. But of course, if you have any questions, you can send them to Fire Station, and we'll answer them.
Great, fantastic. Well, any last questions? Last chance. All right. Well, thank you so much, Julia. It's really, really helpful and interesting. And thank you all so much for joining us.